Start.
Namaste. When we step out of our home, we meet many people. This person can be a vegetable vendor, a grocer, sweeper, teacher, doctor, or any government official. Their experiences are also different. But there is one thing that connects all of them, and that is one word: professional. If we look for the meaning of the word professional, we would learn that a professional is a person who is qualified and competent to carry out a particular job. But is this definition complete in itself? If we ask this question while reading the book that I am to discuss today, the answer would be no. Yes, friends, the book that I am going to talk about is The Professional by Subrato Bagchi. The Professional: Defining the New Standard of Excellence at Work by Subrato Bagchi. Mr. Bagchi is one of the co-founders of Indian multinational information technology company based in Bengaluru. He is a businessman, entrepreneur, motivational speaker, and a very well-known writer of self-help books. This book that I am going to talk about today was published in 2009 and was declared as the international bestseller. The book runs into almost 230 pages and discusses various attributes of a professional. All these attributes are also illustrated by Mr. Bagchi. The illustrations are either from his personal life, professional life, social life, or corporate life. The introductory part discusses the origin of the word professional. It is shared that the origin of the word relates to the Latin word professio, which means an oath taken upon while entering a religious order. If we apply the same meaning in today's time, it can be said that your profession is your religion, that is dharma. Today, during our discussion, I would try to give you some glimpses of various attributes that he discusses and some examples that he provides to prove his point. The first part of the book carries the title Integrity. Here, Mr. Bagchi not only elaborates the meaning of the word professional, but also explains through two relevant examples. He does this by discussing the work Burial of the Dead. The students of literature would immediately recall the famous poem The Wasteland by T.S. Eliot, wherein the first part has the similar title, The Burial of the Dead. The poem, however, presents a gloomy picture. But here, burial of the dead carries positive connotation. Mr. Bakshi here gives an example of Mahadev, whose profession is to bury the unclaimed dead bodies in the city Bengaluru. He used to do this work so dedicatedly in such a committed manner that he earned respect and recognition from everyone, so much so that even the chief minister felicitated him. He was never charged any rupee whenever he visited any petrol pump to get his vehicle filled. Whatever may be the time, shape or size of the body, he always ensured that the unclaimed dead body got a dignified burial. So, what made him professional? He was not a learned person having any degree, but according to Mr. Bakshi, two qualities were there. First one, the ability to work unsupervised. And second one, the ability to certify one's own work. When this book got published in 2009, he had offered dignified burial to almost 42,000 dead bodies. Is against to the case of Mr. Mahadev. Mr. Bakshi gives us another example of 1990 case of Delhi, wherein a rich boy killed 6 people while driving drunk. The case ran for years together, and later on it was revealed that not only the defense but the prosecutor also was trying to influence the eyewitness to go hostile. Some of you might recall the movie Jolie LLB also, which takes into account similar case. Here, Mr. Bakshi tries to prove that a professional is not one who has some high degree, high IQ. So it is not your degree that makes you a professional, but how you carry out the responsibility you are assigned to makes you a true professional. In the next part, he talks about the importance of self-awareness. He lists many things that a professional should be aware about. But what is interesting is his suggestion that it is okay to have inadequacies. Nobody is perfect, but one should learn to accept and try to improve it. One should not try to pretend what one is not. He gives his own example here. He says that I am a political science graduate and I am working with a technological company. So there are many times that he does not know many things, but he does not mind learning from others. That person can be his peer, his mentor, or even his junior. Another thing he suggests is the importance of having something to look forward to. He gives this example from a book called Man's Search for Meaning. This book is written by a Holocaust survivor, Mr. Viktor Frankl. This person survived the concentration camps of Nazis, and he surveyed all the people who survived such concentration camps, and he came to conclusion that all the survivors had one thing in common, and that was the positive attitude. They had something to look forward to. Next, he discusses certain qualities that a professional should have. And one important thing he highlights is that a good professional does not always complain. He tries to suggest that nobody has ever got any ideal situation. One should learn to adapt. And here he uses the term white space from telecommunication. In telecommunication, white space is an extra frequency which is allotted but rarely used. Mr. Bagchi says that in every professional's life there is this existence of white space, and white space is the extra time that you have. This time can be your traveling time, when you are waiting for someone, or some other time. A professional should learn to utilize this time in some productive manner. Then he talks about ways of managing volume, and he gives the example from corporate world, and that example is of Satyam Computers. To explain the fall of Satyam Computers, he uses Abilene paradox. In Abilene paradox, a group of people make an important decision, but while making the decision, instead of keeping in mind the larger picture, they take into account some other factors, like if their decision would please somebody or not, or would it displease somebody or not. Now, whenever, according to Mr. Bagchi, any decision is made, it does no good to anyone, neither to the individual, nor to the group, or even to the organization. So, one has to be very, very careful when you are in a position where your decision is going to impact many lives. Then there might be a situation wherein things become complex, and how to handle this complexity in your professional life. He gives very interesting example. After 9/11 attack, the aviation industry in America was facing huge crisis. Almost all the airlines had laid off staff. But one airline was different. Southwest Airlines. The CEO, Jim Parker, decided not to lay off any staff member. The extra staff was assigned the duty of taking care of the customers. Under no question asked policy, every cancellation was refunded. In addition to this, he also lowered the airfare. This attracted more travelers, and very soon the airline registered better growth compared to other airlines. Here, Mr. Jim Parker did not use only his IQ. He came out of this complex situation successfully because he used his EQ also, that is emotional quotient. He took into account the employees as well as the clients. The second last part discusses new world imperatives. And here, Mr. Bagchi suggests that every professional is a brand ambassador of the organization he or she is associated with. He gives the example of Steve Jobs in his very famous speech that he delivered at the Stanford University. The speech is not only about the life skill, it also cemented the image of Apple in the mind of people. And for this, the company did not invest anything. So, every professional in this manner is a brand ambassador. The last part of the book focuses on professional. He discusses about people from whom every good professional can also take inspiration. And he gives the example of Japanese people, that how Japanese people follow certain professional standard and never compromise with that. The book ends with the list of the qualities of a professional person as well as a non-professional person. I would not divulge the qualities of a non-professional person. I wish that you read the book and learn that which are the qualities. Today's world not only need IQ, it also requires people with high EQ. I wish that we can be professional with not only high IQ, but also with high EQ. And then only many problems that our society is facing will be solved. Thank you very much.